Hi, I'm Tina Litster at Circe Creek Boutique. Our mission is to empower you to courageously create. We created these kits for you to eliminate the guesswork and to give you the tools, the knowledge, and the courage to create your own work of art. Hi, we're going to make this white gold poinsettia wreath. This wreath kit has the white and gold poinsettias, has cream hydrangeas, these gold accent picks with gold leaves. It has an ivy vine and ivy picks here and a bow. So let's get started. Your wreath may or may not be nice and round. This one actually happens to be nice and round. That's unusual, actually. But you can compensate for any squashed shape, like it's a little bit squashed right here, by how you place the leaves and the flowers on. The way you compensate is by just making sure that your elements are nice and round, and it will cover the imperfections in the wreath completely. So the very first thing you do is to place this vine, yours may come in a couple of segments, onto the wreath just in its nice circle form. And we don't glue this in. We actually tuck parts of it underneath the vine parts, and that secures it well enough, and then every other element that we put on helps to secure it. Now you see there's a branch sticking out. The branch that's sticking out gets twisted underneath the vine. Careful when you pull it out. You don't want to pull off leaves and stuff, but it just gets secured by doing that. So any place that there's a little offshoot from the vine, find a twig that it can fit underneath, or part of the grapevine wreath, poke it underneath and pull it out carefully as you can, and pull the leaves out so that they're part of the arrangement rather than just stuck inside. And I want this one. Okay. That's placed where it needs to be. The next thing that we add are the ivy stems. Now you may have some long stems and you may have short ones, or you'll have a combination of the two. Just poke it around and weave it around. Ivy is a very, very weavy looking plant. So poke it around and weave it around the stem that's already there. These we actually will glue in place, but again we want it woven around so that it's very natural looking. There's a lot of variation. So by the time you get all of the ivy stems in place, you should have a nice round form. If it's not, if you have something stuck inside and it's curved in, and then pull it out and round out the shape really nicely. This is how you compensate for any misshape in your wreath. So I like it, it's nice and round. Now to glue the ivy stems in, just find the end of it where it makes contact with the wreath. Retract it a little bit and pool some glue down in there, and then stuff it back into its spot. Ouch. Try not to burn yourself. Sometimes you have to go hunting for these because they're not in obvious places anymore. They're all covered up. Like this one, I can't remember. There it is. Okay, those are in place. The first flowers that we put on are the large poinsettias. You put the largest poinsettia at about between 9 and 10 o'clock, right over here. No part of this wreath is exposed, so you can twist it around like you want it, but I want it right there at about 9 or 10 o'clock. And this one goes in right at about between 11 and midnight, or 11 and noon, I guess. Okay, the next thing is the bow. Now, your bow probably came out of your box a little bit smashed. Most of the time they do. But the wires in the ribbon make it so that you can easily fluff the bow up and make it look nice again. It's really hard to pack them so that they don't get smashed. So just put your fingers underneath it and pull it and twist it and fluff it back up. Okay, this bow goes not on the very top facing outward and not on the very inside facing into the center of the wreath, but kind of halfway in between. I like to twist the end of the wire here so that it inserts into the vine and then pulls back out so that I can twist it in. So insert it here. It should just go halfway in between the two poinsettias. Insert it, find a nice bit of vine for it to go through. Now I mean the grapevine wreath part. Then you pull the wire out and twist it together with the other wire that's in there. We don't glue this in, I just twist them together. You may want to use your pliers to do it. It can be rough on the hands. And then twist the wires back into the wreath so that they don't poke you while you're working with things. Now see, I smashed the bow again, but that doesn't matter. We just refluff it. Now bring the poinsettia back out to the front because they really are the focal point. The bow is part foundation, part focal. Okay, I like that. Now we need to glue the poinsettias into their place. So I put some glue on the end of the stem and then I reinsert it back where it was, making sure that it made good contact with my wreath. Ah, I moved it around too much. I have to re-glue it. Okay. All right, so pull out and fluff your flowers. Your bow will have to be fluffed again at the very end because as we're working with it, we smash it. But I like that. I like it just where it's at. The next thing we put on are all of these cream hydrangea bunches. You have some large ones and some small ones. The large ones you want to put below this big poinsettia. So you put your larger picks under here and then smaller ones just placed in just variation around it. And you don't go all the way around your wreath, but you go mostly around so it kind of closes ranks right in here. Okay, so the hydrangeas and the poinsettias they build together, so they're thinner down at the ends, and then they build bigger and bigger as they go here. That's it's a nice, it draws your eye to this focal point. I like where I've got those, so now I withdraw them. I put glue on the stems, and I put them where I had them before. Try to pull them from the stem area instead of by the flowers, because if you pull them by the flowers, you're almost certainly going to pull some flowers off. It's not the end of the world. You can put them back on again, but it's inconvenient. So try to pull them out by the stem rather than by the flowers. Okay, the next element we put on are the gold-leafed flowers and berries and picks. So, and these, you just alternate them and fill in the rest of the area. This is the last element that you put on, so basically you just want to vary things just to fill in or to cover up spots that are bare or that seem kind of empty. I don't really like that there. If you push something in and you really don't like where it is, pull it back out and replace it. That's why we don't glue things in until we really like where they are. I'm going to put this up here. These white flowers are nice to separate some of the cream stuff. Want to put this closer. Okay, I like that. Elements are separating each other so that the colors pop a little bit better, but there's continuity. Okay, so now pull them out, put some glue on the stems. Oops. Okay, now again, if your bow got a little smashed, and mine did right there, refluff out the bow, and you are done. That looks beautiful. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to show you how to put in a wire hanger. Your wire is in a baggie because I don't want it to get lost in everything, so unpack it from the baggie. And the first thing to do is to determine how you want the wreath to hang. You usually need to lift it up and actually see how it's hanging, but I've determined I want my wreath to hang from this part right here. I want this poinsettia to be just left of the 12 o'clock position. And so I put my hand right there and I just flip the wreath over so that now the part that I'm doing is right at the 6 o'clock position, right there. So I want to insert my wire. It crosses right here, so that's how I know it's at the right place. I want to bend my wire a little bit up at the ends, just because it makes it easier to pull it out of the wreath at the bottom if it's bent up a little bit. So about halfway through the wreath, right in here, I insert my wire, and you have to insert it upside down, and then you twist it up because now your wire is bent. That may have looked a little bit backward, but that's the way you do it. So you put it in, and after about an inch or so, you want your wires to come back out. Now if you have to go digging for them down inside the vine or inside the wreath, do that, but mine came up nicely this time. So then poke, you'll have to pull on the ends, poke it down until your wire hanger is just about even with the wreath. It makes it so that the nail or the screw or whatever you're hanging it on isn't going to show. And then bend these ends up so that you have a funny looking W. Okay, so you have the two ends and then this loop in the middle there. Then, one end at a time, you bend it up around the top loop. And you see how it's bent in, and then you grab the inside of it and you twist it down toward your vine. so that it's twisted down in, it won't poke or jab anybody or mess up your door. Then this same thing on the other side, wrap it around behind the loop and then twist it into the twigs of the wreath. I don't like the way that did it. So twist it so that it pokes right down into the twigs of the wreath. Boy, this one's having trouble. Okay, so that's poked down in. So now you see you have a nice sturdy loop right here to hang it from, and these others secure it really well. Now this is almost impossible to do with your fingers. My fingers aren't tough enough anyway. And then you've got your loop here, and you can hang your wreath from your loop. Now when you flip it back over, you may have to re-fluff some things because you had it laying on its surface. But that's how you put on a hanging wire. I hope you enjoyed making this wreath with me. Remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel below. And for more creative surprises, visit my website and my Etsy shop at the addresses shown. See you next time.